Hi, Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network show. For nearly 30 years, I've been focused on helping advisors become the best both personally and professionally. This show is dedicated to sharing with you tools, tips, strategies, distinctions, things that are working now. I'd love for you to take a moment, and if you're watching this on YouTube, click the like button and also the subscribe button so you get automatic updates. And if you happen to be listening to us on a podcast, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and you leave a positive review for us. Now, with that said, let's get to today's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network show. In this episode, we're going to start a four-part series on what the Magellan Code is. So, one of the things that that I've always believed in, I believe that human beings, if they're going to accomplish greatness and do great things and achieve at high levels, you have to operate or live by a code, right? Now, all human beings have a code, some better than others, right? But the question is, have you articulated it? So inside of Magellan Network, our core four, right, our code, if you will, vision, rituals, energy, and mindset, right? Vision, rituals, energy, mindset. So if you take all four, and as an advisor, if you were to deploy those inside your game, right? Whether you're, again, there's three practice models, right? There's the solopreneur lifestyle model, the ensemble model, and the enterprise model. Inside of any of these models, you deploy these four things, right? As a leader. So let's start with the one. Just take vision today. We'll take vision today. Then we'll do the other three over the next couple of weeks. So when we think about vision, why is it so important? It's important in really two major aspects. Aspect number one, yourself, right? So in other words, if you're a solopreneur operating your business, right, lifestyle, whatever, is that where do you want to go? Where do you want to take it, right? And if you're leading a team, right, so you have staff, junior advisors, administrative help, things like that. Well, as a leader, one of your primary roles as a leader is to set the course of what are we going to do? Where are we headed? What is the goal? What is the direction? So vision is incredibly important. Here's what's interesting. It is not uncommon for advisors to struggle with vision. Now, when I say that, remember, there's multiple aspects of vision, right? There's kind of short-term vision, which is, hey, what do I want to get done in the next 30 days? There's still short-term vision next quarter. We get a little bit, kind of out there with, hey, what am I going to do the next 12 months? Then you get out there a little bit farther and hey, what do we want to do in the next 36 months or 3 years? And then what do you want to do over the next 10 years, right? And it's very fascinating because what happens in our game, I want some of you guys to think about this. When you grew up in this industry, what was it always about? What are you doing today? And then what's your month look like? Hey, what's your monthly production goal? What's your monthly production goal? All those, right? So the industry forces you, think about this. It forced you to get very tactical, very myopic in your vision, because for the first 5 years of pretty much everybody's career inside this game, it's really about survival. Like, you got to make your months, right? And what happens is after you get through that threshold, again, I'm using 5 years as a kind of conversation. Some people get done in 3 years. Some people, they're like on the 25-year startup mode, right? Which is every year they're starting from scratch again. Terrible thing, by the way. You start looking at it, and you've got to develop this vision muscle, right? So how does this play out? When I'm talking to a new network member, a new applicant for network, or an applicant for my private work, one of the questions I always ask is, hey, tell me where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. It's kind of a very typical question, one of my core questions. And some people have got, some people say, well, they've got it all lined down. Here's what I want my top line to be. Here's how much assets I want to have. Like, they can kind of give me a rough, like, they can get their hands in the clay and mold some shapes, right? In other words. And that's probably the minority for sure. And then I get advisors who really just can't get their fingers in the clay. Well, I just want to be better. No, I just want to be doing more. I want to be more successful. And like I said, well, tell me 5 years from now what that looks like. And like they struggle. They really, really struggle with articulating where they want to be. So what that tells me is that they're very short-term focused, right? What am I doing this month, this quarter, this year? And by the way, you need that. That's not. There's nothing wrong with that. So for those of you who are very good at your what I call your tactical game, it is not a weakness. It is strength. But you need to have the other muscle developed, which is the long-term vision. Now, I was talking to actually two conversations before I recorded this today. Both clients of mine, they are crushing it. And in both conversations, we talked about, hey, you guys are now abundant. You have now earned the right to figure out what your next move is, what the next level of your game is, right? And when I say abundant, I think advisors have three conditions inside this game. Scarcity, which is usually the first 5 years, right? You're one quarter away from being out of the game, right? Then you get abundance, where hey, economically everything's happening, you're sustainable, the money's good, the quote unquote economic pressure, right, is not the same anymore. And then there's what we call prosperity, which is it's no longer about you, it's about legacy. I mean, the money is now pure a byproduct, right? Your income is a pure byproduct of the game you play, right? We didn't worry about it anymore. It just happens. Inside those three elements, right? So when you get to abundance, you now got to ask yourself, okay, what's next, right? Because if you say, okay, abundant, I've made it, right? Well, then your vision is going to be, it's not going to be great. Your goal may kind of stay here. And what happens? We start taking our foot off the gas a little bit, our standards start dropping, right? Things start happening that way, and our vision is just kind of more of the same, kind of blocking and tackling. It's a terrible idea, by the way. When you're in abundant mode, it's now time to declare your next game. And to me, what that vision needs to be is really, you always continue to grow, by the way. So this is not a game where we stop growing. So we're always going to be moving the needle north economically, right? Because that way we're wired for, human beings are happiest when they're in growth/expansion mode. So we're going to stay there, okay? But now it becomes a different question. How do we continue to grow, enjoy the process, get downtime, be sustainable? Keyword, being fulfilled. There's a difference between being successful and being person fulfilled, okay? In this game, success normally, the way we look at it, is economics, right? Which is, hey, production, top line, bottom line, net worth. All important. But is that going to fulfill you? So what does fulfillment look like? It's doing the things that are important to you, whether they're experiences like bucket list trips, legacy, contribution, giving back, pieces like that. Maybe for some of you, spending more time with your families, right? Fulfillment. To me, you never want to be on your deathbed and say, you know what, thank God, I'm so happy I died with a $50 million net worth, right? I think we want to do is be on our deathbed and say, you know what, I lived life to the fullest, I have no regrets. And I'm saying to everybody here, if you're an advisor, you have that opportunity to have that second story. Living a life of fulfillment with no regrets, with economic abundance and time freedom. However, if your vision does not include those concepts, you will create what you envision. So if you envision working harder and just doing more, that's exactly what you're going to do. If you envision saying, hey, I'm economically abundant, I want to now create a different game for myself. And for those of you who watched or listened to my episode last week, right, where I declared, hey, I'm going to coach to 100, and I gave the reasons why I'm going to do that. Well, it's been very interesting because a lot of clients, a lot of you guys reached out to me and said, interesting concept, tell me more. And being an advisor, there's no mandatory retirement age. If your health is good, right, physically, mentally, and emotionally, then you can play this game as long as you want. There's no, like I said, We can all be Tom Brady in our own way, right? I guess if you want to use that as a thought process, and just kind of do what we want to do. But it takes vision. So let me ask you, where do you want to be in the next 10 years? And I want you to think about 10 years for a second. That's 40 quarters, 40. You know how much you can accomplish in 40 quarters? Pretty much anything you want. But you got to have the vision for it. And so here's what I want you to do as a test, whatever you want to call it. Get out a piece of paper, a journal, notebook, or maybe on your phone, whatever you like to do, and just write, in the next 10 years or by whatever, 2031, right? Interesting when you say it that way. By 2031, here's what I'm going to accomplish. And I want you to have two boxes. What am I going to accomplish professionally? So what's my professional vision? And then what is my personal vision? 10 years. And some of you, this will be easier to do. Some of you will grasp this because you're kind of strategic thinkers and you'll get this and it'll work for you. Others, you're going to struggle with this. What you're doing when you're asking the question, you're working your muscle. You're working your strategic mental muscle. So go back to like once a week or maybe once a month. Go back, hey, where do I want to be in 5 years personally? Where do I want to be in 10 years professionally, right? Go ahead and do that. Start exercising your vision muscle. And don't put limitations on yourself. What a lot of advisors do, real quick, then we'll bounce out of here, is they try to, okay, here's what I want to be in 10 years, and then they kind of work it backwards, and it overwhelms them, right? And then it shuts down, or they don't know how they're going to do it, so they shut down. I can't see how I'm going to get there, so I can't get it. Don't worry about how you're going to do it. What matters is, why do you want to do it? Why is it a must, right? Who do you need to become to pull it off? Question 2. Question 3, who do you need to associate with, partner with, put on the team, have around you, your who's? And then what needs to get done? So now the hows, right? Level 2 goals, tasking, recipes, all that jazz, right? So that's the least important thing. That is the how. It's the why, who, how. Why, who, how. It sounds like a weird word. But that's how you create a goal, a vision, and you start flushing it out. Get clarity on it, okay? So, thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, like I said, next couple of weeks, we're going to be unpacking the Magellan Code. Today was vision. Next week, we're going to do one of the other 3, all right? So, have a great week. Happy August, everybody. See you all in about 7 days. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.